Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we're going to be doing a Zoodiac Tri-Brigade deck profile. So this deck is a really cool deck that's been gaining popularity recently with the release of Tri-Brigade. Tri-Brigade's been out a little while, but this deck is still holding on and being in the meta, which is really amazing, and is a really neat deck. Ever since Trident came off the list, like there's been so many different variants of Zoodiacs coming out, and I think this is probably one of my favorites because of how innovative it is and throwing multiple different engines into the deck to make some pretty insane unbreakable boards, and I'm really excited to show you guys this deck. So without further ado, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on the come part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon in the description below where we have all those awesome rewards you guys, like getting your game strips from every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, or even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron along with test hands. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this one, guys. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Zoodiac Thoroughblade. So Thoroughblade is really interesting because a lot of your Zoodiac monsters share the ability that they give the buffs to the particular monster that you're XZ summoning using them as material, which is always at the bottom of the cards if you guys didn't know that. So basically what this card does is Thoroughblade has some really neat effects that if this card is normal or special summon, you get to discard a Zoodiac card, and if you do, you get to draw a card. And an XZ monster that's XZ summoned using this card has the ability that if this card attacks a defense position monster, you inflict piercing damage, which is pretty good. We then play 3 copies of Zoodiac Whiptail. Whiptail is kind of neat too because during either player's turn, you can target a beast or beast warrior, or excuse me, a beast warrior type XZ monster you control and attach this card as a material from your hand or your field to that monster's material. And if it is a material on a XZ monster, if this card battles an opponent's monster after the damage calculation, you banish the opponent's monster, which is a really good effect. We then play 2 copies of Ram Ram. Ram Ram is kind of neat because during either player's turn, when an opponent's monster activates a trap effect, then targets this card, you can detach material from that card and negate the activation, which is a pretty good effect if it's equipped to an XZ monster, or not equipped, but as a material on the XZ monster. And if this card is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you get to target 1 Zoodiac monster in your graveyard and special summon it to your side of the field, which is pretty good as a monster effect on this card. I really like this. We then play a single copy of Ratpier. Ratpier, you can only play 1 Ratpier, unfortunately, because it's limited. And if this card is normal summoned, you get to send a Zoodiac card. You get to send a Zoodiac card from your deck to the graveyard. And then it also has the ability that you can't use its bottom effect because there only is 1 of them, unfortunately. But once per turn, you can detach a material from this card to special summon a Ratpier from your hand or deck, but you can only play 1, so you can't go off because there's only 1. We then play 3 copies of Tri-Brigade Franktail. Franktail is pretty good because it has the ability that you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard to send one level 3 or lower beast, beast warrior, or wing beast monster from your deck to the graveyard. And you can banish any number of beast, beast warrior, or wing beast monsters from your graveyard to special summon 1 beast, beast warrior, or wing beast link monster from your extra deck with link rating equal to the number of banished cards. Also, you can only use the effect of this card, beast, beast warrior, or beast, beast warrior, or wing beast monsters for the rest of the turn as link material for the rest of the turn. You only use the effect of this card once per turn. It's a really good card to be able to just extend into your copies of your Tri-Brigade extra deck monsters. We then play a single copy of the level 2 Tri-Brigade monster. This card's really good because you can discard a card, or you discard a beast, beast warrior, wing beast, especially on this card from your hand, and then it kind of copies the ability that you can banish any number of beast, beast warrior, wing beast monsters in your graveyard, special summon a beast, beast warrior, or wing beast from your extra deck with a link rating equal to the banished monsters, which is pretty good as well. We then play 2 copies of Nirval. Nirval is really good because it's a wing beast. Now that is very important for this deck, that this card is actually a wing beast, because that comes in ridiculously handy in this deck. Because it has the ability that you can banish any number of beast, beast warrior, wing beast monsters from your graveyard, special summon a beast, beast warrior, wing beast from your extra deck that's a link rating equal to the number of the banished. So if, for example, if you guys are not grasping that, basically what they do is if you banish 3, then you can special summon a link 3. If you banish 4, you can special summon a link 4. It's very similar to the effect of Miscellaneousaurus in Dinosaurs. However, with Miscellaneousaurus, you have to banish Miscellaneousaurus from the graveyard, where these have to be on the field, which is kind of neat. It also has the ability that if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a Tri-Brigade monster from your deck to your hand, which is super helpful when this card is summoned to the field. We then play 2 copies of Alpha, the Master of Beasts. I just feel like 2 is fine in this deck. I only have ever played 2. I've played around with more. and it kind of clogs where you get too many of them in your hand, but I like 2 because it kind of makes me think of Nibiru, playing 2 Nibiru or 2 Effect Veiler. It's when you want to see it, it's there, but when you don't and you don't want multiple copies of it in your hand, you don't see it. And the deck is very, very tight with the way that I play it, and so this card comes in as a 2-of for me. But basically, it cannot be normal summon or set, it must be special summon in your hand, while the total attack of your opponent's monsters are more than that of all monsters on you control, and then you can special summon this card from your hand, and you can target any number of Beast Warrior or Winged Beast monsters you control, return them to the hand, and then return face-up cards your opponent controls to their hand equal to the number of cards you return to your hand, and then also you cannot conduct a direct attack with a Alpha, the Master of Beasts, for the rest of the turn. We then play a single copy of Mist Valley Apex Avian because it's extremely easy to summon in this deck with your copy of the Smorg Link, 1 copy of Thunderbird because you can establish the Infinite Negate Unbreakable Board combo where you can just infinitely negate your opponent, which is really cool. 1 copy of the Barrier Statue because if you draw one of these, you kind of turn off the engine a little bit. This card can help you stop your opponent from special summoning, which is kind of neat. 3 copies of Ash Blossom because it just stops your opponent from all sorts of shenanigans. 2 copies of Effect Veiler because it stops your opponent from using all sorts of effects. This card can also be Ghost Spell if you want to change out for Ghost Spell, because that card has been kind of putting in a lot of work recently. And then 2 copies of Nibiru. Nibiru helps board wipe, which is super helpful in this deck. Just be able to board wipe your opponent's field to not have to deal with cards. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we are going to be playing 1 copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is super helpful in this deck because it just stops your opponent from hand trapping you. 1 copy of Zoodiac Barrage. Zoodiac Barrage is just a 1-of in here because I think it is limited. I know it's limited to 1 because I only put it at 1. But what this card does is you can target 1 face-up card you control, destroy it, and if you do, special summon 1 Zoodiac monster from your deck, and you can only use this effect of Zoodiac Barrage once per turn because you only have 1 anyway, so it doesn't matter. And then if this card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Zoodiac Xyz monster you control and attach this card from your graveyard to an Xyz monster's material. So it's really good to be able to give your Xyz monsters other material. I remember actually when this went to 1. It went to 1 when Drident came back. Drident came back to 1, and this card went to 1 because they were like afraid of this card being really good and Zoodiac being really good because the deck is still crazy. We then play 2 copies of Pot of Avarice. Pot of Avarice just helps you shuffle your Zoodiacs back into the deck to be able to use them over and over again. Same thing with your Tri-Brigades, to be able to use them over and over again. But this card's really good because you can target any 5 cards or any 5 monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, and then you draw 2. And this deck does a lot with the monsters, so this card is really good just to shuffle them back into the deck. And then finally, for the last 3 spells, we're only going to be playing 3 more spells in this deck. We're playing 3 copies of Fire Formation Tinky. Tinky just searches so many different monsters in this deck, so you really need it. It basically searches your entire Tri-Brigade engine. Well, not your entire Tri-Brigade engine, but Frangtail. It searches Frangtail, and it searches all of your Zoodiac engine, which is really good because they're all Beast Warriors, and it just helps out a lot in this deck to be able to grab the exact one you need out of your deck as quickly as possible. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence just to stop your opponent totally from using monster effects. You play a lot of hand traps in this deck. 1 copy of Tri-Brigade Revolt. Revolt is really good because it lets you special summon a number of your Beast Warrior Wing Beast monsters that are banished or in your graveyard, but negate their effects, and then immediately that this card resolves, you link summon a Tri-Brigade Link monster. So basically it's a 1 card, basically get all your cards back in the graveyard, which is kind of neat, which I really like that. But you're more like, once you summon your Ominous Omens, you can summon another one using this card, which is super, super helpful to be able to get you another one on your side of the field. I play a single copy of Oath. Oath lets you target a Link monster you control, and you special summon a Beast Warrior Wing Beast monster from your, with a type, different type from your hand or graveyard. And if you control at least 1 each of your Beast Warrior Wing Beast monster, you manage this card from your graveyard, target a phase-up spell trap your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of the turn, which is pretty good as well. I usually don't use that effect that much, but the really good effect to be able to do is to be able to just target 1 Link monster you control and special summon a different Beast Warrior Wing Beast monster in your hand or graveyard. It's kind of like Monster Reborn in a trap form. Then we play a single copy of Zoodiac Combo. Combo is pretty good because it lets you target a Zoodiac Xyz monster you control and attach a Zoodiac monster from your deck to that monster as a material. And then during either player's turn, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, and then you get to target 5 Zoodiac cards in your graveyard with different names and shuffle all 5 of those in the deck, and then you draw cards. So it's kind of like Pot of Avarice. It's kind of like your 3rd copy of Pot of Avarice, but a little bit better. So that's it for your traps and the main deck. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Ominous Omen. Ominous Omen is so easy to summon in this deck, so that's why I actually play 2 of it. This card is actually really ridiculously easy to summon because it has the ability, this card is special summon, or if another Beast Warrior Winged Beast type monster is special summoned to your field, you can banish 1 card on the field, which is really good just to be able to banish stuff on the field that doesn't target. And also it has the ability, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a Beast Warrior or Winged Beast monster from your deck to your hand, whose level is less than or equal to the number of banished Beast Warrior or Winged Beast monsters, which is really good just to be able to add anything that you particularly need. Then we play a single copy of Silver Sheller. Silver Sheller is just a 1-of to me. It's not quite as good as Ominous Omen, and I rarely summon it, to be honest. Basically, you climb into this with your Fangtail. That's what I do, at least. And then you also go into your copy of Trident, which is ridiculously easy to go into in this deck as well. But during your main phase, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Beast Warrior Winged Beast monster from your hand or graveyard, but you negate its effects, and then return it to the hand during the end phase. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can make all monster your opponent currently control lose 300 attack for each monster type you control. Until the end of the turn, which is kind of like a lackluster effect, but you still kind of need it as a 1-of. We then play 2 copies of Tri-Brigade Baron Blossom. Baron Blossom is really good in the deck because this card is a link too, and it's ridiculously easy to summon because it has the ability that during your main phase, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Beast Warrior Winged Beast monster from your hand, which is just super helpful to get them out from your hand. Like if you draw an Apex Avian, you can just immediately get it on your side of the field, and then summon Union Carrier, and then equip the Thunderbird to something, which is really nice. So it's not actually that bad to draw Apex Avian because of this card. And it also has the ability, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you could draw a card and then place a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. And then we play a single copy of Infinitrack Megaclops. Megaclops is ridiculously easy to summon in the deck and kind of like the boss monster of Zoodiacs now. 1 copy of the Smorg Link monster. The Smorg Link monster is ridiculously good in this deck because it has the ability to be able to special summon Winged Beast monsters during the end phase of the turn, equal to the amount of unused spell and trap card zones. You can, like, for example, if I have 5 unused spell and trap card zones and you have 5 unused spell and trap card zones, then I can special summon a level 10 from my deck, which is ridiculous. I love that effect to be able to summon Apex Avian during the end phase or Thunderbird during the end phase, depending on which one you need. We play the same copy of Union Carrier because you can equip Thunderbird onto your copy of any of your monsters to be able to just get it out from the deck to be able to start your Infinite Negation. This card is ridiculously good in the deck, and you need it as a 1-of. We play the same copy of Trident because it's really good at popping cards. We play the same copy of Borbo. Borbo you kind of just use as a link climb to me. Hammer Kong, kind of the same thing. I play 2 copies of Chalkanine. Chalkanine's really good too because it has the ability that once per turn, you can XZ summon Chalkanine using a Zoodiac monster you control with a different name as XZ material. And it also has the ability that once per turn, you can detach a material from this card and then target a Zoodiac card in your graveyard and special summon it, which is pretty good to be able to help you go into your copy of Infinitrack, the Megaclops, because it's really easy just to get 1 back from the graveyard. And then I play 2 copies of Tiger Mortar as well. Tiger Mortar comes in really handy because it has the ability that you can, this card gains attack equal to the amount of all the Zoodiac monsters that are attached to this card as material, which all your Zoodiac XZ monsters share that ability. And then it also has the ability that once per turn, you can detach 1 XZ from this card and target an XZ card you control and 1 Zoodiac monster in your graveyard, and then make that monster, attach that Zoodiac monster as a material, which is super good just to be able to get another material under your monster. So that's it for the main deck, and that's it for the actual whole deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a really fun deck to play with. And it's really just amazing how well Zoodiac is still performing after its initial release. Like, it's been a minute since Zoodiac has been released, and it's still a good deck, which is what's insane. Like, they got 1 card back and lost 2, and then that kind of like popped up everywhere, which is insane. So anyways, guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.